Good men versus bad men. A good man wants to take care of himself, his health, his career, his fitness, and he leaves his world a better place. The people he interacts with are better off for having been with him. And I'm going to put that same responsibility on women. A good woman leaves the world and everyone she interacts with better off for having been with her, having known her, having been in her life. And that's something that I strive for in myself, that I want to leave people better off. Every interaction with me has left them better off. That includes sometimes telling people no. They may not always like it, but it's respectful and it's considerate and it's honest. But there are a lot of people who are not good, either because they don't care or they don't know. A lot of people were raised without knowing these basic standards of how to treat people with respect, how to be loving and kind. You know, being a mother and a grandmother, I see how little boys are. They want to pet cats, and when they see a caterpillar, they don't want to crush it. They want to move it gently to the side. Okay? They protect. They care about. They build structures and buildings, and they lead companies, preferably from the heart, and they care about people. They have good boundaries, and they will tell you no if they're a no. A bad man uses people, and in the context of dating and relationships and women, a bad man will use a woman. I'm not just talking about physical violence. I've never experienced physical violence at the hands of a man, or alcoholism, or cheating. So I'm going to leave that off the table because that's not in my world. But what has been in my world is men. What I have seen is men in the manosphere space talking about how women are just too damn picky. They want access to women without doing anything at all. They are entitled victims. So that's a bad man. He's just sitting around complaining that nobody wants him rather than figuring out why women don't want him. Or he becomes a victim to his body shape or height or income, which is all bullshit. A bad man also are these guys that go around teaching how to, spin plates, be pickup artists, fuck boys, because they plunder women. Women do not want to be used for sex. Sure, there are 2 or 3% of women who are wounded, but women do not want to be used for sex. A lot of guys want to be used for sex. They don't care, but women do not want to be used for sex. When men go around just hooking up with women, complaining that women aren't easy enough, they're bad men. They're plunderers, and they are violators, and they are perpetrators. Bad men. They leave people worse off. If you're a man watching this and you're still hooking up, ask yourself if the woman is generally happy that you just fucked her and blew her off, or that you're just having sex with her and not giving her a relationship. Now, she may not say anything, but are you contributing to her life or making it worse? That's what we always have to ask ourselves. Not just, is this good for me, but in my interaction with other people, am I honoring them? How am I leaving them? When I hear about women on Tinder, like that woman who was, the guy just ended her. They met on Bumble, and I think, was it Bumble or Tinder? I don't know. She invited him right over. It was at night. And in the next morning, she was dead. Now, when I hear that a woman just invites a man over to her home off a dating app, she's got no standards, no self-esteem, no boundaries. And maybe a lot of women were being taught this makes them independent, powerful, they're free, they can do what they want. But I'm here to tell you, I want to just wake people up. That is not ladylike behavior. Not only is it not safe, but only a bad man would be attracted to that. See, a good man would never do that. He wouldn't even be attracted to that. He wouldn't even be attracted to that. He would never, I can guarantee you this. You think that you're being nice or you're being free or whatever, but a guy, when you act that way, you're not going to attract a good man, and you're not going to attract a man who would want to marry you or introduce you to his children. He's just going to see you as a piece of meat. A good man is going to respect your boundaries. He's going to like them. And I will tell you this from the point of view of a woman who has dated lesbians, and who, I will tell you this, sometimes if I wear like my Ariat jacket, or I wear something that looks a little bit more masculine, because I'm strong and I have a pretty face often, women will respond to me in a flirtatious way. Especially if I wear a skirt with my Hugo Boss shirt and a tie, women will respond to me in a flirtatious way. Or just in a regular day, if I'm just even wearing a dress and I compliment a woman, they will respond to me in a certain way. So I will tell you how I feel from the way women respond to me, and I'm assuming men might feel that same way. So I'm just speaking from the point of view of a woman, how women respond to me. When women are too excited about me right away, I don't trust them. I feel like they have no boundaries, and I disrespect them, actually. So I would think that men would feel the same way. Like, why are you gushing all over me so easily? You don't even know me. Okay? That comes up for sure. But if I compliment a woman and it doesn't take much, I will tell you. If I tell a woman, oh my God, I love your earrings, I love your purse, and their whole face will light up. They're like, oh, thank you. Like this huge smile, this glow, this radiance, like it lightens up my day. And I'm not into women at all, but it's like, wow, I just had this beautiful burst of joy coming from this woman. That's a gift, ladies. You don't have to spread your legs to get a man to appreciate you. He's got to be able to be excited by your joy, by your smile. A good man will be. Also, like today I was driving to come to this place where I took a walk, and there was a woman that was walking through the parking lot, and she was gorgeous. She was so pretty, and there was nothing showing. She wore jeans, a turtleneck, I think, or something, and a jacket, and she had long hair and a little makeup and heels. She looked so beautiful walking to her car, and it just reminded me of how much pleasure I get when I'm just out with one of my friends, and she's like dressed all pretty and wearing makeup. Not for me or anything. We're not, we're straight. But I, as a woman, even get so much pleasure from seeing a woman like that. And I thought if I were a guy going on a date and she came up to me like that, I would just be so thrilled. Now, maybe that's just because I'm a woman. I don't know. I'm not thinking about getting in her pants, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, a good man will appreciate those parts of a woman. He's not, see, because the bad guys don't appreciate that part. Their heart is closed. They don't feel your joy. They don't appreciate your character. They don't appreciate your boundaries. A bad guy just wants to get in your pants or get something from you or get your attention or get your validation. And I get those guys too. They try to slide into DMs or send me emails trying to get with me. They're bad men. They're bad. They have nothing to offer and they just want to take. So as women, it's so important for us to distinguish between good men and bad men. And a good man will appreciate and respect your boundaries because he does not want a woman who's easy, because he's going to disrespect you. I disrespect women who are easy with me. I respect a woman who is happy to see me, happy, but she's not going to just like let me have her right away because she's got standards. I've got to prove myself. As a good man, I have to prove myself, and a good man isn't going to mind proving himself. A good man is going to expect that he has to prove himself over time by being consistent, by honoring your boundaries, and by getting to know you. He's going to like to do that. But there are a lot of guys who don't want to do that, so you got to weed them out. Like the video I made the other day about my friend in her 50s, or this lady I knew, well-to-do people, she and the guy, and he was telling her, you know, I'm a guy who needs sex. I'm a guy who needs sex, so you want to go out with me, we got to be fucking. That's a bad man, con artist. Or the guy who's pressuring you for sex, or the guy who has sex with you and blows you off. All bad men. Men pushing you for sex. All bad men. So the way to weed out, ladies, and there are a lot of bad men out there because a lot of women have made men into bad men by being too easy. That's why I'm making this video. Do not invite men you don't know into your home. Do not just go around giving men your phone number. Does this guy even deserve your phone number? Does this guy even deserve your phone number? I think we've become way too easy in the name of, oh, we're liberated, we're free. We can't be so trusting with strangers. It's one thing to trust the people that you grew up with, or people that you work with, or people in your neighborhood, or people at church that you've consistently seen. But new men coming out of nowhere, you can't trust them. You don't know if they're good or bad. And that's one thing I had to learn, and that's very unfortunate because I think it's in our nature to just want to be nice to people and trust people. But we, as the more vulnerable sex, we're physically weaker, and a lot of men just want to fuck us and use us. So they have to prove that they're good. They have to prove that they're good. And when they go on whining and complaining that women have too many standards, they're bad. Those are bad men. All those incels complaining, I'm going to put them in the bad category. Not because they mean to be, they're wounded. They're wounded. And wounded men will take from you. Wounded men are in the bad category because they're bad for you. I'm not saying they're bad. They're bad for you because they're complaining and they're making women think that our standards are wrong, that we're not nice enough, that we're not open enough. At least that's how I took it. Like, oh, I'm not open enough. I'm not kind enough. I should be loving these guys. No, they're wounded. They have to find their own way, they have to find their own way around men with healthy mindsets, or maybe they'll find a video like mine. But usually when they see a video like mine, they'll be like those entitled women because they grew up with moms who didn't love them. So they see women as enemies or something, or women should, they want to get back at women. A good man doesn't want to get back at you. He doesn't want to pressure you. He doesn't want to hurt you. He wants to protect you, and he wants to care about you, and he's consistent. Any guy who says he's going to call you and doesn't, bad man, out of there. Any man who says he's going to take you out and stands you up, bad man, out of there. Any man who lies to you or cheats on you, bad man, out of there. If you're married to him, try therapy. But there are a lot of wounded people out there. This is why I think it's so good to be single and to be willing to say to anyone, are you good or are you bad? Because I don't need you. I don't need you. I have space in my life for a good man, but I don't need a man enough to have no discernment. And that's what women say when they say, I don't need a man. I want a man, and I do in my life. I have space for a man in my life. A good man. When I say I don't need a man, it means I'm willing to be choosy. I'm willing to say no. I'm willing to look at guys and be like, are you good or are you bad? And I'm going to take my time figuring it out. If you're bad, the second I find out you're bad, and it usually doesn't even take going on the first date to figure that out. because they're inconsistent and they lie and they don't show up, or they're not interested enough, out. But if you're good, if you're interested in me enough to be consistent, to care about me, to see yourself as someone who wants to love women and give that love to me, I'm interested. Very interested, actually. Very interested, actually. So my invitation for men is to get in touch with that part of you that wants to take care of caterpillars crossing the street, that wants to pet kittens, that wants to play with children, that wants to love, nurture, protect, and provide for a woman consistently, and be affectionate and be tender and keep your word and be monogamous and take care of her and her children if she has any. In my age, I have children. I would never date a man who he's got to love my kids. If you don't love my kids as much as me, that's out, already out. That's in the bad category, bad for me. But only date women that you feel that way about, guys, because if you don't, you're going to lose that part of yourself that wants to protect and care. You're going to turn yourself into a bad guy if you don't have discipline and intention around women. More men need to only interact with women in a way that leaves them better off. Because otherwise, a lot of guys are building bad habits as perpetrators, as victims, or even as fixers, like I can fix this woman. Don't waste your time with women who are wounded. Do not waste your time with women that have mental health issues, that cheat, that are alcoholics, that are financially irresponsible, that don't take care of their children or themselves. You know, be intentional, guys. Find women that you respect, that you want to adore and provide for, and put that energy on them, and magic will happen. And my invitation for ladies is to have really healthy boundaries so that you can just relish in your own joy and just be very, very slow to let men into your life. If any guy's pushing you as like you're too picky, you're too slow, you know, any kind of pressure like that is a huge red flag, because a good man is going to respect your boundaries and your pacing, because he knows he's got to prove himself to you, and he's going to relish in proving himself. He's going to be like, just wait what I've got going on. So that's my invitation. And I think a lot of the problems have come in because women have let go of their need to feel safe, and they're just putting themselves in hookup situations and being very easy with men. And that is wounding to our heart. So women have put up walls and become very aggressive as a way of protecting themselves, rather than having some healthy boundaries, because we've been shamed for our boundaries. Women have been shamed for our standards and boundaries by these weak, complaining men who say, you know, we're not easy enough, or we're too demanding, or being told that we should be just like men. Our boundaries are, this is why I'm making these videos at my age of 61. I have something valuable to teach you guys here. That our boundaries, the boundaries are gentle and soft, they're loving, they're not mean. If you have healthy boundaries, you can be in your feminine loving energy, and that's what men really want. They want to see our joy, they want to see our happiness. And now, for me, it might be too late because I'm 61, but the younger women certainly have a lot more options still with men. I don't know, maybe eventually I will meet a man too who's like masculine and tender and sees himself as wanting to love me. I'm open for that, but I'm no longer, I don't even know if it's possible anymore. But the younger generation has more hope, for sure. So, ladies, please, please find your sweet feminine spot. Find the boundaries that you need so that you can really relish in just finding your joy. And don't let anyone pressure you that you need more time, because a good man and a healthy man will relish in proving himself to you And if he's actually healthy and cares about you and you feel secure and safe, it really won't take that long, because you're going to be able to know, you're going to feel it in your body. If you trust a guy, if he's safe and cares about you, you're going to feel it. And I pick up on that very easily about, is this a guy I can trust or not? I pick up on that like right away. Right away. It doesn't take long to figure out if I can trust a guy. I can tell before I even go on the first date, you guys. It's like so quick. We're so in tune with our feeling things about people. And that's what we need to see. Like, do I trust this guy? Or is he kind of pushy or aggressive or in it for himself or inconsistent or kind of absent? I pick up on that very, very quickly. And it doesn't even have to do with how often he gets in contact with me. I can't necessarily explain it. I guess I could make a separate video about that if people want to see that. But it's what they say and what they do. It's not about how often they contact me, because I talk to men frequently. I mean, even when I'm out and about, I talk to men. I meet men in the course of my work, in the course of going out. And there's certain men that I feel are good relationship material, even if not for me. They have what it takes. And there's certain men that I'm like, you would never get someone like me. You might get a woman who has less standards, but you could never get someone like me. Like, I would have to give examples, I think, to explain it. And I don't want to give examples because I don't like to. This is my channel about me, and I don't feel like it's my place to bring other people into it without their permission. So anyway, again, in summary, the invitation for all of us is to honor ourselves and love ourselves, and to leave anybody that we come in contact with better off without violating our own boundaries. Like, I honor myself, and in honoring myself, you should be better off. And that often means telling you no to something. Like, for example, if a guy's like, hey, I want to fuck you, you know, we've been going out and you owe me sex. Leaving him better off would be saying, no, I'm not open to that. Leaving him better off, when I give a boundary, I'm being honest, and he's better off because I've given him my honest truth, and I've delivered. Leaving him better off means like delivering in a kind way. Doesn't mean giving people what they want, if you get my drift. And I think it's good for people to find other people that are more in sync with them. Like, a guy that just wants to use women should find women that want to be used. So then we're all better off, I guess. But I approach people with kindness, and if people aren't kind back to me, then they have to go. So, and I guess that's what I do. I keep treating people with kindness, and if they're not kind to me, they have to go. And any man who pressures a woman for sex has got to go. Bad pile. Any guy who tells you he's going to do something is the other thing. The two red flags on men that I see all the freaking time is a guy trying to slide into a guy trying to get my attention, whether it's emotional or sexual attention, without having put in any effort. He's not giving me any money. He's not asking me on a date, nothing. He's just trying to get something for nothing. And that includes guys in the comments telling me I'm beautiful. I don't give a shit. Don't tell me that. Like, I'm not your girlfriend and we're not on a date. You know, make a comment about the video or say nothing. And guys who don't keep their word. They say they're going to do something and they don't do it. And the world is full of guys like that. That is the biggest red flag. And you get that before the first date even. They show you that part before the first date. And that is a huge one. If there's one thing that guys can work on, is keeping their word. To be more attractive to women, at least women of my caliber who have standards. And I'm not saying I'm the hottest woman around, but I would be pretty freaking good in a relationship. I feel like, I'm going to toot my own horn, I would be really, really good in a relationship. I'm not like the most attractive woman in the world, and I'm 61, but I would be really, really good in a relationship. And I was really good in my marriage. I was just married to the wrong guy. So I'm very confident in myself. And after spending years going through, you know, how the single world has evolved and seeing all the things, I'm coming back to my senses and being like, yeah, women are supposed to have standards. And so are a lot of women too. A lot of women are now saying, I had my hookup phase and now I want to be celibate until marriage. And they're going back to church and they're saying this hookup revolution has failed us and we've lost sexual attraction to each other. When men are supposed to be home changing diapers, I'm sorry, I do not think it's sexy for a man to be doing housework and carrying babies in the front pack. I find it a turnoff, frankly. Now, a guy going running with his kids or going rock climbing with them and playing Little League with them, that's super hot. But don't try to make a man into a woman and don't try to make a woman into a man, because how are we supposed to be attracted to each other when we're all the same? It's not, to me. It's not. So that's my video. And by the way, I think that as a very sexual woman, one of the reasons I would like a relationship is to have sex, like regular sex with a guy that I'm really into, that I can have really good sex. You know, that's a driving motivator for me. If I didn't care about sex, if I didn't have a libido and I didn't care about sex and I wasn't attracted to men, I wouldn't really care about a relationship, honestly. So my sex drive keeps me, you know, interested in that. But anyway, there are no men that can have me sexually unless they're have met all my criteria and all my standards, and I would have to meet him in real life, and he would have to show up, and he would have to provide something. So that's good for women to be choosy. And I'm pretty happy with my life, and it's because I'm choosy. That's what I think. And I'm honest, and I keep my word. Yeah. So I feel good about myself. I would make a really good wife or a really good girlfriend, but I haven't found anyone worthy of it or that I'm interested in. So that's my story. I hope you guys are having a great Saturday, and thank you for watching my video.